Alrighty, and here we go. We're just going to shuffle up, get sorted, both putting down our starting Pokemon, and I just want to point out that I have once again put down 6 prize cards by accident. I noticed it very early into the match and we just shuffle them back in because it is a friendly game. So I'm going to start. I'm going to Bill. I start the Voltorb. Scott starts 2 EVs. I draw a Machop. I debated putting the energy down onto it, but I've got a couple of Pokeballs in hand, so I figured I'd play them and try and get a Hitmonchan down before, just because it can hit a lot quicker. If Scott doesn't have much in his hand, then I might be able to pull something off. I also hit another Pokeball. So Pokeball, flip coin. If heads, I can search my deck for a Pokemon and put it into my hand. I think with this one I'm going to take the Dratini. I'm going to take the Dratini here. I haven't actually used Dark Dragonair at this point, I don't think. It just helps me search out for my stage 1s. The reason I did this was so I could search out for the Electrode and possibly knock it out, put the energies onto the Hitmonchan and use Special Punch to just start knocking out these EVs. I put the fighting down onto the Hitmonchan. In retrospect, it was probably easier for me to just grab the Electrode. Scott's going to go for a Pokeball of his own. He flips tails. Looking at his hand, it doesn't look like he's got too much going for him. He can just attach to the Eevee and use Tail Whip. So I just read Eevee here, just to make sure it doesn't do anything incredible. Yeah, it's Tail Wag, sorry. So if he flips a coin, if it's heads, I can't attack during my next turn. He attaches to the bench, however, because he knows Voltorb probably isn't going to attack. I'm going to put down the Abra. Just want to point out, you may notice that this video is at a quicker pace than the other ones. I've sped this one up just a little bit because it is like a 30-minute game, and I just kind of wanted to get things going a bit quicker. I'm going to just attach to the Voltorb Retreat and hit Jab for 40 damage, and I believe Eevee's got 50 HP. So it's going to survive. We're going to see an energy search from Scott. Just taking the 1 lightning energy. Probably just going to try and stall here with a Tail Wag. So I do have the weakness with Hitmonchan. We're going to see the fighting come down, and we're going to see the Tail Wag. And I didn't see what it was. I think we'll find out shortly anyway. So I'm going to draw a little bit choke off the top deck. I'll put that down. So he hit heads, obviously, because I just had to pass. So I'm a choke, attach the energies, and I just realized, oh no, I think I just realized that I put the prize issues, which I brought up earlier. So I shuffled them, and that's what my mistake was. My hand gestures were. So I don't know if I can attack at this point. No, I just pass. Oh no, I go for the knockout. So Scott must have flipped tails there. We're going to see the Electabuzz come down. I believe that's the promo one. Unlike the rest of the games that I've recorded and commentated over, I actually have both of our decks here, so I can look at the cards and look at what they actually do. So Scott is going to flip tails on the Tail Wag once again. I'm just going to hit it for another 40. If I attach those 2 energies that are currently on the Machoke onto that Hitmonchan, I would have been hitting for knockouts. But I don't think it mattered too much at this point anyway. If I can get the Machoke up, I'm just going to swing at these Electabuzzes for a lot of damage. You see the Tail Wag, Scott's a bit happy with that one. He finally hits the heads. So I'm going to go Alakazam. I think that's the first time I also get the Alakazam out. So things are really looking up for me at this point. I don't know what that one card in hand is. Oh no, I've got more than one card. So just past turn. I wasn't able to attack the Eevee this turn, so I'll just happily pass. Scott doesn't have much, and is that a Tails, I think? So I'll be able to take a knockout this turn. So Scott really doesn't have much going for him. Yeah, I take the knockout, going down to 2 prize cards. Now Scott's got a choice here. He can use the promo Electabuzz to try and stall out some time a bit longer, or he can just use the normal Electabuzz to start hitting for some damage. So he's going to opt to go into the promo one, which has light screen, which basically just halves my attacks. So instead of doing 40 damage, I'll only be doing 20, with the weakness, obviously. I decide to go for the Gust of Wind, and then plus power item finder and use the plus power, and I'm able to hit for a knockout now because I'll be doing 40. The other Electabuzz has 70 HP, so double plus power will make Jab do 40 damage times 2 for 80, which is a knockout. So Scott's really got to draw into something now. The Electabuzz promo is coming up. We're going to see a Hitmonchan come down. We're going to see a computer search for the Pokeball. And I can't see what that other card was. A switch, okay. I'm not too sure what he's going to grab here. Probably a supporter for next turn, maybe. Yeah, he's going to grab the Oak, and he actually doesn't have to show me, I don't think. I don't think the old computer search you had to show what the card you chose is. No, you just had to put it straight into your hand, so he doesn't actually have to reveal it, but he chose to anyway. I don't think it mattered too much. And there we go, Scott's just going to pass, he's going to light screen. We're going to see the energy removal. I just straight up just hit for 20, I didn't have much. We can see the potion from Scott. And now there's the Oak. Now, Scott could have got rid of the energy on the Hitmonchan and then possibly bought himself even more time if I don't have an energy in hand. I only have one card in hand, so maybe that would have been the wise thing to do. Seeing as I didn't attach the energy last turn, if I had it, he should have known that I had no energy in hand and just got rid of that one on the Hitmonchan so I can be attacking. So I do draw into one now anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter too much. So I'm just going to hit 20. I'm just kind of powering up for this special punch, if I can hit it. Energy's going down onto that Hitmonchan. I think it might be a bit too late for Scott though. We're going to see another computer search here, so this could be for a Gust of Wind or possibly like a plus power of some sort. No, plus power, energy removal. I think he's prized both of these cards. I think that actually might be energy removal just there. The card that he's debating. Or is it a potion? Yeah, it's energy removal. So he's going to get rid of the energy onto the Machamp, which is fine for me. Again, if these were both to the Hitmonchan, it could have been really dangerous for me because I would have been relying on top decks, which I'm clearly not drawing. So I'm not really sure why Scott decided to get rid of the ones on the Machamp. It's got a 4 energy retreat cost. If you got rid of the ones on the Hitmonchan, I wouldn't have been doing any damage right now. So Scott is in a position, no, I was going to say he's in a position where he has to retreat, but he got another potion. So he's going to light screen. If I can draw into an energy, I'd be able to hit for the knockout. I don't draw into the energy still. So yeah, if Scott had got rid of those 2 energies on the Hitmonchan, we would have been looking at maybe a comeback for Scott. So we're going to see the energy go down onto the promo Electabuzz. He has to retreat here unless he can find a way to potion once again and buy some more time. And he's just going to hit me for 20. I Gust of Wind for game. So I had the Gust of Wind in hand. So I don't think there was any way Scott really could have won that game there. So we're just going to quickly shuffle up and go into game number 2. Scott will obviously be starting that game as he lost, so he has to choose. So in that game, unfortunately, Scott really wasn't able to get much going. I was able to kind of get a quick start. I drew a lot of the cards that I like to draw into. Like I got the Alakazam down, I had a Machamp down, but I didn't really need them as everything I was attacking was hitting for weakness. So we'll have to see how this game goes. You'll be glad to know for the rest of the game I don't put 6 prize cards down. I was the only person to do it in the entire draft tournament, and then I did it twice. And both of those games were recorded, so that's great. Believe we're starting soon. Jeez, I think I might mute that. That was very loud. Okay, I think it's sorted. Hopefully that doesn't come through again. That was very loud in my ear as well. Notifications on the computer. So Scott is starting with Hitmonchan, I think. I think he got double Hitmonchan there. Or Hitmonchan and Eevee. No, Hitmonchan and Electabuzz. I start with Abra and Dratini, so my side is not as good. Abra can easily be knocked out by a Hitmonchan. So Scott now is going to get the double Pokeball. He flips one heads. I don't know, he's going to probably take he's going to take the Eevee. He could have also taken another Hitmonchan. Wouldn't have been too bad. I don't think it honestly matters too much early game. Having the one Hitmonchan is fine. I think he took it because he only had the lightning energies. I draw, and I honestly don't think I have much going in my hand. So I'm going to go for a Pokeball. And I flip heads. I think I'm... I don't know what I'm going to take here. Probably just the Hitmonchan, yeah. I'm going to take the Hitmonchan. Abra does have a free retreat cost, and I make a fatal misplay, which I'll talk about shortly. When it actually happens. So I'm going to Hitmonchan, and then Bill looking to draw the energy so I can retreat and attack, and I whiffed. I don't have any energy in hand, so I have to pass over to Scott. We're going to see the Jolteon come down, so that could be a pretty big player in this game actually. Jolteon, I think that's the normal one. He plays both Dark Jolteon and normal Jolteon. If he's able to flip enough heads on a pin missile, he'd actually be able to knock out a lot of the things in my deck. It hits for 80 damage, so I'm going to get the Dark Dragon Egg down, and I think this is the first time I've got this down. Its ability just allows me to search my deck for any evolution card and put it into my hand. Just allows me to get a lot of things. Like my deck plays like 4 different evolutions. We got the Alakazam line, the Electrode, the Muck, and 2 different Machamp, so 5 evolution lines in total. 6 if you include the Dark Dragonair. So it just kind of helps me get the things I need. So I'm just going to look, and that was the fatal misplay. I have a free retreat, and I decided to go onto the Kadabra straight away without retreating into the Hitmonchan, which was what I should have done. Because I think Kadabra's actually got 2 or 3 retreat cost, and I think I only play 1 switch in this deck. So it was honestly a pretty big mistake on my part. I should have thought about it a bit longer, but I just kind of was feeling like I was dead drawing. Kadabra does have 3 retreat cost, so I'm really never going to get that thing out of the way. And Scott had to oak there away 2 energy removals. That's why he didn't do a last turn, is because he was hoping that I would play some energies and he could actually use them. So there is the regular Jolteon. I'm just giving it a bit of a read. I'm going to hit 20 onto the Kadabra. I'm going to evolve into the Alakazam. I could use the Dark Dragonair ability. I'm just reading the ability of Alakazam to Scott, which just allows me to move damage counters on my side of the field. So just kind of keeping all of my Pokemon alive for as long as I possibly can. The basic idea of this strategy was using the Champ's ability, so when it's attacked it does 10 damage to the active Pokemon, and Alakazam to heal up any damage that was on it, and then just kind of beef it up. It's got 100 HP. I didn't pull off that combo once, so Scott's just going to continuously jab me for 20. I can just heal it up pretty easily. I've got a super energy removal in hand. I played 2 of them in the deck. They could be a pretty crucial card. I can discard an energy attached to one of my Pokemon to discard 2 from Scott's. Unfortunately, it has to be to the same Pokemon, otherwise I would be getting rid of those 2 on the Hitmonchans. So Scott's just going to give the card a read. So I get rid of the 2 energies on the Jolteon, just so that I can't really retreat and just go for that pin missile attack. So Scott does have the lightning energies in hand anyway, so it's pretty redundant. But it kind of slows him down, as it means he's going to have to attach all of those energies again. We're just going to see another jab for 20. My strategy at this point is to just stall out. I've got nothing going for me in my hand, so I'm just kind of healing and passing. I use the Dark Dragonair just to get down the Electrode, I think, just so I can use that as well to heal up, I suppose, heal the damage. What I possibly could have done in this game, which I don't do, and it's kind of a mistake on my part, is move a bunch of energies to damage to the electrode and then use its ability to knock it out to put 2 energies onto something. That could have been a really good possibility for me if I had was thinking about it at the time. I really didn't think a lot of my moves through in this game, unfortunately for me. I was just kind of winging it and just trying to heal up every now and then. That was my basic strategy. So I go for the item finder for the super energy removal and get rid of 2 more on that Jolteon and then heal 20 damage and put it on, or not heal but move it onto the Hitmonchan. So Scott could use Gust of Wind and stuff like that to pull up that electrode and get a cheap knockout on that eventually. Though the problem is, if he tried to do that, if he brought up that electrode and wasn't able to knock it out, I would just knock it out myself and put energies on it. So that would actually help me if he was able to do that. But he's not drawing into anything of his own at this point. So I'm going to use Dark Dragonair to get a Machoke down. Just start to be able to tank with another Machamp. That's what I'm going to be putting most of my damage on. I swapped the damage with the Alakazam and the Machamp. Energy Search from Scott. He doesn't have many cards left in deck at this point. So I might be able to stall out for quite some time. We're going to see another jab for 20. I'm going to build to draw 2 cards. Energy onto the Hitmonchan. And I'm going to Dark Dragonair, get the other Machamp down. And just heal my damage and pass. So I'm going to put it onto the Machoke here. Just pass turn. There's not much else I can do past that. I could have attached the energies onto the Alakazam and then blew up the Electrode and retreated. Looking back at this game, this is really what I would have done. Was move as much damage onto the Electrode, knock it out, put it onto the Alakazam, retreat into a Machamp and just tank for the game. That's what I should have done. It's got 20 more HP than Alakazam does. So just me not being smart, not thinking of these options. It was a bit of a misplay on my part. By the way, I just want to point out with Alakazam, you don't have to move them in lots of 20. I'm just deciding to do it because it seemed easier at the time than moving all these one individual counters around. Just going to see another jab here. So I'm going to put another fighting energy onto the Hitmonchan. And I'm going to move individual counters there. So I'm going to put the Dark Dragonair up to 50 damage and the Machamp on the other Machamp up to 30. So more damage going down onto that Alakazam. Just going to put that one up to 40 and the Hitmonchan up to 30. I want to try and keep that Alakazam as alive for as long as possible. I'm going to see the computer search now, the Dark Jolteon and the Pokemon Breeder. Scott's got 5 cards left in deck, so I might be able to stall him out here. He actually takes nothing with the computer search, so I think he was just looking what was in deck, maybe looking for the Gust of Wind, maybe it's prized, I'm not too sure. So we can see another 20, and I just drew an energy, and this is where I really should have just attached to the Alakazam and blown up that Electrode, but I didn't. I decided to just go for the item finder here, take off those energies on the Jolteon, and move some more damage. Scott now has 4 cards left in deck. So if I can survive for 4 more turns, I should be able to win this. My deck is also looking pretty thin at this point. So then we're going to see another 20 damage. And I just made a fatal flaw there. I didn't move any damage. I think I truly think if I kept healing damage and moving damage, Scott wouldn't have been able to do this. But now he's able to knock out that Alakazam with so much damage spread across my board. Anything I put up is getting knocked out. And this was the biggest misplay, is putting up this Hitmonchan with all my energies on it. I should have just thrown up a Machamp and just tried to stall for a bit longer. But I didn't think of that either. I could knock out my own Electrode and hit for 40, then he's just going to hit me for 40 for the knockout. There's no point doing that, so I decided to just retreat up to Machamp and pass. Now what I could have done also in this game was actually attach my energies to the Machamp and then use the Electrode's ability to knock it out. We're now going to see the Gust of Wind on that Hitmonchan. I'm going to go for a Bill, which I really regret just because I'm so low on cards and my idea was to try and stall out Scott. So I've got 2 cards left in deck. I check Scott's. Scott's got 2 cards left in deck. So at this point, I'm like, I've got this. I can't lose here because I draw a card next turn. Scott draws his last card. I draw my last card. Scott loses due to deck out. If he's not able to hit knockouts, which looking at this, he's not able to. But here's the big roll. It's a recycle, and he flips heads. That recycle literally just won Scott the game. He puts the card into his hand. I tell him it actually goes on top of his deck. That's what wins him this game. Because no matter what now, I'm not able to win because I'm going to be drawing the cards first. Scott will not deck out before me. I'll deck out before Scotty. So I don't think I can win from this point. My idea was to stall, and that is not working. Scott's just going to go for a quick attack with the Electrode. I do the Dark Dragon just to see if that card is anything that can help me. It's not. So I attach to the Machamp on the bench and pass. Scott now has a Gust of Wind, so he can take a knockout on another Pokemon. I actually don't think it would have mattered either way if I had got the... If Scott didn't get the Breeder, I think he probably would have had this game anyway. So he's going to take a knockout on the Electro now. He's only 1 prize card down, and that's it. I lose. I just put the Grimer down, attach the energy, and scoop. So what I was actually going to do there was, if Scott did knock out that Electrode, just for the fun of it, was knock out the Electrode and put it onto the Grimer, just because Grimer can then use like Poison Gas to put his opponent to sleep, or Sticky Hands, which does 10 damage and I flip a coin. If it's edited, it does 10 plus 20 more. And then now Paralyze. Scott knocked out the Electrode though, so there was no point to that. Alright, I'm just going to fast forward here because we are both pile shuffling, and let's jump straight into the final game. Alrighty, and here we go for game number 3. I'm going to start this one. I start with a Voltorb and a Dratini. My hand is no good. I go for the Pokeball. I really need a heads here, and they flip to tails. So I've got nothing in my hand. I've literally just got energies, so I'm a bit worried at this point, so I just kind of attach and pass. There's nothing I can really do looking at my hand. I think it's filled with energies. I think I got the Grimer, and I don't have much going for me. I just need to try and draw into something. Unfortunately for me, I didn't pull any good supporters. I only got 3 Bills, so I think everyone else had an Oak in their deck. I was not lucky enough to draw into an Oak. So Scotty's going to Pokeball. He flipped heads, and he's going to take the Hitmonchan. If he's able to get that into the active position this turn, I think he can knock out my Voltorb. He's just going to attach and pass though, so he didn't have the switch. Voltorb has... trying to find it. Voltorb has 40 HP, so it would have been a knockout. So I think I drew into the Electrode, and I debated playing it, but I don't see much point. So I'm just going to put 10 damage onto that Electabuzz. And Scott's going to put energy on the Electabuzz and pass. And I'm going to super energy removal, just getting rid of the energy on the Hitmonchan. And then passing, I probably should have attached to the Voltorb once again, just in case I wanted to retreat. Scott draws into a computer search, so he can probably take himself an oak here, which is probably his best bet. So he's going to get rid of the Dark Jolteon and the energy removal. Probably going to take the oak. Maybe he'll go for that recycle to put the energy back on top of his deck and potentially put that energy on the Hitmonchan and then draw into the switch, hopefully. I can't see what that other card in his hand is. I know he's going to recycle and something else in hand. So I'll have to... That's a potion. So Scott's really got the good stuff going here. And he flips tails on the recycle. And then he's just going to oak. So if he can draw a switch and an energy, he draws the energy, and I think he drew the switch. Yeah, he has drawn the switch. He's able to knock out Voltorb. And all I've got is a lone Dratini. So now I'm the one relying on the top decks. I'd have to put down the Grimer just in case it's not knocked out. I'm going to Gust of Wind the Electabuzz and hit for 10. I'm not drawing into anything good, and with these two decks that we're both playing, it's really whoever gets this first turn start, whoever gets this really good start is going to win. Not necessarily win, but they're going to be in a better position. As seen in every game that we've played, it's been whoever has that first turn good start, has usually been able to win the game. But usually, I mean, every single game that we've played. Our decks are just so fast, but I think Scott is a bit faster. He plays more support than I do, and he doesn't play all these stage 1s that I'm drawing into. I think my hand at this point actually has a Alakazam. I know it's definitely got an Electrode because I debated playing it, and I don't think it's got much else. So I'm going to see the Gust of Wind on the Dratini, and just throw on the dice because it's going to get knocked down anyway. All I've got is that Grimer, the Muck, and I pass with the Muck active. Scott would have to be feeling pretty good at this point. There's not much I've got going. He's taken 2 prizes already. He's going to hit the Muck for 40. I'm going to Bill to draw 2. Muck only has 70 HP. I put down the Abra. Maybe I'm like, if I can, I don't know, pull off something big here. Might be able to take a couple of hits. Maybe I can pull off my healing strategy again. I don't think that's going to happen. Muck gets knocked out. What do I have? I've got the Kadambra pass. I might. I could possibly do this if I can get the Alakazam and something else to bench. Scott's already used, I think, all of his Gust of Winds, so maybe I could pull this off. We're going to see a Pokeball. Heads. Probably take himself a Jolteon here. But I think I've only got 2 cards in hand, 2 or 3 cards in hand, and I don't actually think I have an Alakazam in hand. You're going to see the hit for 40, and I'm going to Item Finder. For the bill, just a last ditch effort. Pokeball, if I can flip heads on this, that's my only chance. Nope, flip tails. Energy, pass. So that is the game. Scotty was able to win that one. So that was the best of 3 series, and I actually prized the Alakazam, so even if I flipped heads I would have lost. So thank you guys for watching this series. It's been a lot of fun playing this old format cards. We'll definitely try and do this another time. It's a lot of fun to just go back, play this old format, play these old cards. It's great. I would highly recommend it. Once again, thank you to Chris from Wilds Department Store for sending us these cards, which allowed this video to happen, and to Gametraders Mildura for allowing us to record in their store. If you've enjoyed this series, be sure to leave a like on this video and every other video of the old school Pokemon TCG draft series, as well as subscribe to our channel. Next week we will have Adelaide Regional Championships coming out. They're meant to come out this week, but we had a bit of an issue and I don't have the footage with me, but I'm getting it at Melbourne Regionals, which we're recording as well. So next week's going to be like flooded with videos. I'm going to just hammer out like 2 to 3 videos a night of Adelaide Regionals, and then after that go into Melbourne Regionals. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.